Welcome back. Joining us now from Baku to talk on the tragic AZAL plane crash 1 year on is Tural Ganjali, a member of Azerbaijan's parliament. Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us. Let's start with the latest. We just got an interim update from the Kazakh Ministry of Transport. There's not really much there, but they said the investigation's purpose is to prevent similar incidents in the future and not to assign fault or liability. They added that a separate criminal investigation is underway. Of course, we're still waiting for the final report. What do you expect to happen when those final findings see the light of day?
Yes, very good question. As you have mentioned, 1 year after Azerbaijani Airlines passenger plane crashed near Aktau, Kazakhstan, the incident is obviously an unpunished crash and for which Russia is directly responsible. And we expect that Russia takes its responsibility and admits that it was the Russian side, it was the Russian local authorities who were responsible for this crash. On the first anniversary of the crash, of course, the core facts established are that plane was shut down by Russia, and the subsequent Russian actions exacerbated the crisis and demonstrated a hostile intent towards Azerbaijan. Russia's response to shutting down the aircraft was marked also by a significant delay in admission of its fault, and also a post-incident display of arrogance and the refusal to allow the damaged plane to land in its territory. Instead, Russian authorities directed the aircraft over the Caspian Sea, actually sending the crippled aircraft to its death, thus deliberately attempting to conceal the crime by ensuring the plane's destruction and removing all of its traces. Unfortunately, these are the facts that Russian authorities must confess and must admit, but unfortunately we have not seen during this last 1 year any response from the Russian authorities, just statements and just referring us to some results of investigation, which are not quite well accepted by Azerbaijan. Also, the incident, I would say, that is a broader pattern of Russian geopolitical miscalculation concerning Azerbaijan, because Russia's aggressive actions against Azerbaijan have historically resulted in significant strategic setbacks for Moscow itself. And if we take into account all of these geopolitical questions together, it is very important that Russia understands its miscalculations and make reparations and corrects its foreign policy towards Azerbaijan. These are the first my comments concerning this.
We will be talking about the geopolitical circumstances, but just one detail. It was not so long ago, in October, when Russia's Vladimir Putin admitted the plane was hit by debris of Russian air defense missiles. He then promised accountability and compensation. Families of the victims are demanding justice. Do you see Russia fulfilling the pledge made then in October?
I don't see any kind of development that Russia is fulfilling its obligation because of the post-incident developments in the region. I think that Russia, first of all, probably did not anticipate a firm, resolute action by Azerbaijan. You know that the president of Azerbaijan has demonstrated its dissatisfaction with the post-incident process. So many times Azerbaijani authorities, Azerbaijani official, Minister of Foreign Affairs and the officials of Azerbaijan demanded exactly the compensation and the Russia's apology. But unfortunately, beyond the statements, the situation did not develop, so we have not seen any kind of positive steps from Russian side, at least satisfying Azerbaijani demands in this process. These are the situation right now, but of course I am 400% agree that the families of the deceased and the people who suffered as a result of this incident have all of their rights to demand the Russian authorities for full compensation.
Looking back from the day of the crash, from 25th December last year, up until now, when you look at the timeline and all the statements, meetings, everything we've heard and seen, what do you see happening in the foreseeable, the near future of the relations between Azerbaijan and Russia?
Yes, very good question. In the foreseeable future, the relations between Russia and Azerbaijan, I hope that will remain in the framework of the pragmatism, because Azerbaijan has always, from our part, we have always demonstrated constructivism and pragmatism vis-a-vis our relations to Russia. It was Russia's, unfortunately, foreign policy towards Azerbaijan, taking into account, for example, the 3-year-old conflict between Azerbaijan and Armenia. It was Russia who supported openly Armenia, damaging our relations, unfortunately, in the near past. But foreseeable future, I do hope that if Russia corrects its foreign policy and accepts the new reality on the ground that Azerbaijan has created, especially after the ending war with Armenia, I think that if the reality is accepted by Russia, the relations will continue developing in a good, pragmatic direction. Otherwise, I am afraid that it will not bring any benefits. You know, again, Russian foreign policy and Russia's miscalculations towards Azerbaijan have always resulted in a negative setback for Russia itself. For example, if let's take account some historic facts. First of all, on 20 January 1919, when Russian tanks invaded Baku, Azerbaijan, and massacred Azerbaijani people, it was not long after that Soviet Union collapsed. For example, if we remember how Russian troops assisted Armenian terrorist army in 1990 to 26th of February, genociding people in Khojalı, there was very harsh consequences between Azerbaijan and Russia. The relations between our countries were badly damaged. And also, this plane incident must not be forgotten. Probably if Russia thinks that Azerbaijan will overlook and will not take this incident seriously, they are not in the good position, they are not in the good mindset if they think that Azerbaijan will overlook. Azerbaijan will never overlook this incident, and Russia also cannot underestimate Azerbaijan's firm resolution, strong position demonstrated by the president of Azerbaijan, protecting and preserving its national interests always and everywhere.
And there are other current developments. The peace process between Azerbaijan and Armenia is moving along. We're seeing practical steps, cargo having transit through Azerbaijan to Armenia. We had that August meeting between the leaders in Washington. The U.S. secured the rights to develop the TRIP route, or as someone might say, Zangezur corridor. How would you say that transit corridor might affect Russia's standing and influence in this region?
Yes, first of all, we have to say that this TRIP corridor, Zangezur corridor, is not directed against any countries in our region. First of all, there is a mutual agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan that Azerbaijan will connect with its Nakhchivan region through Armenia, through the Zangezur corridor, and the President of the United States, with its participation, of course, cemented this very big geopolitical project. While Azerbaijan, of course, we have been trying to establish connection with Nakhchivan. It's a win-win situation for everybody, Azerbaijan, Armenia, and also the West. But also, I think that Russia and also Iran, they also can benefit from this corridor by establishing their pragmatic relations with Azerbaijan, because Azerbaijan is the only country in the region which is hosting two major, very important geopolitical transport corridors, east-west and north-south. For example, if Russia accepts the Azerbaijan's leading role in the South Caucasus and takes into account the geopolitical shift in the region in a positive sense, of course, Russia also can benefit. For example, Russia is now suffering from sanctions implemented by the Western countries, and Russia also can utilize and also can benefit from joining this corridor and also helping regional cooperation to be established and to be cemented in foreseeable future. So we will see, but if against, I don't think that it will also benefit to Russia, because Azerbaijan is not alone. We have very strong alliance, strategic allies, Turkey, Turkic-speaking nations, and Azerbaijan is playing active role in shaping the foreign policy and geopolitics of the South Caucasus, Central Asia, and bigger Eurasian area, generally speaking.
And that is all the time we have. MP Ganjali, thank you so much for joining us and providing us with your opinions.
My pleasure.
And thank you for watching. That's all we had for you for now. But stay tuned to A News.